Hello comrades. So as you know, we have started a new series which is about the oscilloscopes 101. We got to know about the basics like the probes, the horizontal and vertical scaling, the display and interface option. So now the second video we are going to look about trigger. So you may ask, what is a trigger? So trigger basically means when the oscilloscope starts plotting the points. So let's demonstrate it via time space example. So this is our time window, 0 seconds, 5 seconds. So for example, our usable waveform starts from only this point, let's say around 2.5 seconds. But the oscilloscope's normal method starts triggering the complete waveform from 0 to 5. So the median option, like the medium part from 0 to 2.5, is completely wasted. Their points are not used. So we guide the oscilloscope like when to start plotting the waveform at what point. For example, we need only the half 2.5 seconds to 5 seconds. That time interval we need. So configuring that, by configuring the trigger, we can exactly achieve that. Now trigger also has some configurations. So the first is the type, the edge type. So first is the rising edge and second is the falling edge. So as the name suggests, it triggers based on the waveform is starting point, like the rising, or the ending point, the falling. So we'll get to know about it by a demonstration. So we'll quickly switch to our oscilloscope. Yeah, we'll start with the landscape mode. So this you can see here is the trigger menu. It's the trigger level, the trigger menu, and force trigger. Force trigger is basically a push button which acts like a manual trigger button. When you press it, it triggers the oscilloscope. So you'll see a few things when you move the knob. So this, as per we move the knob, there's a plain line which moves up and down. Actually it's a dotted line, but on the camera you can see it's a plane. And at the corner there is this value, T something voltage. So that's it, that's the trigger voltage. Basically when the waveform hits a certain point above this oscilloscope will start triggering the waveform, like plotting it on the screen. So for example, I don't have any signal right now to show, but I have an internal waveform generator inside, in the oscilloscope itself. So we'll use that to check the trigger function. So for now we'll set this option. So what do you see here? It's a single sequential, or this is the run stop button which can control the oscilloscope running or stop mode. And this single sequential means this, when you press it, it would wait for a single trigger point. That's your single point triggering. So for example, when you want to catch a spike or something, or a back EMF of a motor which spikes up to this, and then we can use this function to only record that thing. So once we do single menu, then we'll go to burst, then set the trigger, and then it would start to plot the waveform. Yeah, so you saw that there is a very low, very small there, but as we'll zoom in, you can see the multiple points. So we'll count. The count is 10 number of cycles. Let's see if it's 10. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Yeah, so this is basically our trigger. So as you can see, it triggered at around, let's see, 4.6 volts. So if I click it, the our max waveform value is 13.8. and let's go about 15 volts and do the single thing again. And now if you press the trigger 1, it also triggers because this is internally linked to that. But for example, if we turn off the wave generator option and then turn on the only single generator, then yeah, this is also triggering because it's still in the trigger range. But we'll keep it higher than that. And if we go now, then yeah, as you can see, it's ready, saying ready, but it's not triggering at all. So the waveform is not showing. So if we reduce, or if we click this force trigger button, it can plot the waveform. Yeah, so that's a waveform. And let's look at the trigger menu now. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying about. This is the trigger type. Edge type, we have a lot of trigger options here. We have some communication interface menus, edge, pulse, video, etc, etc, etc. These we'll look at some time later because these are very complex options. Yeah, so this is the edge trigger and this is the slope type. So it's rising, falling, or either. If we use the help option and turn on, it says the same, set the trigger slope. And this is the mode. Like auto means it would continuously trigger no matter what the waveform is. Like for example, it's now continuously triggering, okay, and you can see the waveform is moving right left. That's because our trigger level is incorrectly set. So like if we go to this waveform and put the trigger somewhere here, you can see the waveform gets stable even if we zoom in, zoom out or something. Yeah, that's basically a trigger in hindsight. And this option, it's like basically 50%, so it sets the trigger value at our 50% of signal level. That was it. And the hold off means like up to what time, like from the trigger start point to this hold off time, how much time period should be between that. So if we set it longer, it would hold off for a long time. So that's basically the trigger thing. Yeah, so that was it for this video. I hope you got to know something new. In the next, we'll explore some more advanced options in that. It would be an intermediate series from now on. These were the very basic things like the horizontal scaling, the vertical scaling, the probes and all. And in the next video, we'll get to know more about how to like set up the oscilloscope, a bit more advanced, to capture more complex waveforms and timing signals and all. And for today, it's that only. So yeah, have a good day. Thank you.